So 10 a.m. this morning, Trump had a press conference announcing he would seize control over the Washington, D.C. Police Department. And this is the first step of Trump's plan to federalize control over the District of Columbia. I mentioned last week that this would happen. I told you this was in the cards. By the way, Trump has flirted with this before. It all came out in January 6th testimony on the Hill, the House Unselect Committee, soliciting a firsthand account from Mayor Muriel Bowser, who spoke to the committee about the summer of George back in June. June of 2020, all the conflagration going on, BLM, etc., unrest in the city of Washington, D.C., and Trump, through Mark Meadows, had reached out to the city back then, had flirted with the idea. At any rate, didn't come to pass. So Trump has known that this is a power he possesses and has clearly decided now to do it, invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia's Home Rule Act. Now, Washington, D.C., and you know this, it's not a state. It's a special district. It's created in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the U.S. Constitution. And as a unique status district, it falls fully under the control of Congress. And to the extent that the president has authority ceded to him by Congress, the president has absolute authority to do certain things, such as this. Now, the way I read the code is that this gives Trump only temporary power. There's some dispute about whether it's 48 hours or 30 days, but with congressional approval, he can continue on with this. Now, I've been thinking about this. Should it get there? Should Trump get to a place where he requires Congress to give him a 2 thumbs up, I could see a lot of Republicans strongly supporting this because, well, for one, every person in Congress lives in the District of Columbia, or at least lives near it, or has staff that live in the city. It goes without saying they work in the city, right? The Capitol is in the city. The Capitol itself is protected by the Capitol Police. The Capitol Police keep things nice and tidy on federal property, in and around the Capitol, the office buildings, etc. But it gets dicey for staff members who have to leave the confines, the safety of the Capitol, and travel at night, wee hours of the morning, to and from work. Gosh forbid they want to go out and actually enjoy themselves on a Friday night, let's say. Now, the entire story in D.C. is a summation of what is fundamentally wrong with the left, what they have done to this country, and how to fix it. Law and order has to come back. And when you listen to Trump and Jeanine Pirro and Kash Patel, you understand from this situation that even if you wanted to simply get in and police more, you're not going to get the job done because the laws are designed to let criminals free. And this is what we have spoken about extensively on this program. Friends, you and I have talked over and over again about the importance of ridding ourselves of this social justice, restorative justice crap. The left has somehow convinced whole swaths of America that the way that you rehabilitate criminals is by going easy on them. Let's talk about the youths, because that's a huge problem in D.C. And I know this. The biggest lie being told right now, incidentally, is that crime went down last year. That is complete and utter hocus pocus. They even arrested a captain in the D.C. Metro Police Department because they found out that he was deliberately underreporting felonies. He was downgrading felonies in his reporting to misdemeanors in order to cook the books. All of it is a fraud, but I digress. Story after story after story. And these are only the stuff that's getting into the news. You know, I live here in Las Vegas, and many of you live here somewhere near me. Many of you listen around the country, and in fact, around the world. Very few of you, I'm just judging by the downloads, are in the District of Columbia. But if you do live in the District of Columbia, you're aware of even more criminality than we are. But the stories that have been coming out, there's young criminals running amok in the city, and they're doing it because they know there are no consequences to their bad behavior. This is exactly the problem that we're facing, and we're facing even more significantly before the state legislature here in Nevada made some tweaks in our classrooms. If you are an educator, you teach in a school, in a high school, in Las Vegas, Nevada, Clark County Unified School District, and you have one or two, you're probably laughing because it's more than that, one or two miscreants, okay? Kids in the back of the room making noises, being disrespectful, cursing at you. What can you do about having that young menace removed from the classroom so the rest of the kids can learn? The answer is not a whole lot, because our legislature, dominated by the Democrats, came in their infinite wisdom up with this tremendous idea, wrapped it up in jargon that sounds great: restorative justice. We're going to work with these youths to better understand them. Because you see, Sam, these young people, this school shouldn't be a pipeline to prison, so we're going to be more patient with them. And guess what happened? It's really quite easy. It was quite foreseeable for anybody who's ever raised a kid. Fewer consequences resulted in more bad behavior. And the very purpose behind the reforms, behind the big-hearted ideology that the left purports to espouse, resulted actually in quite the opposite result than its stated intent. More kids now than ever have no chance of succeeding in the world wherever restorative justice was tried. And in D.C., and you heard it, and I'll play it here after the break, Jeanine Pirro saying, my hands are tied. I can arrest these thugs, and they're 14, 15, 16, 17. I can't touch them. If you can't touch them, if that really is the state of law enforcement, I can tell you two things right now. Number one, crime will spiral out of control. If you give a child a free pass to be an adult criminal, that child will become an adult criminal. Make no mistake about it. And number two, what you saw today, is just the beginning. Trump is using this case study, if you will, the situation in D.C., as an example of what the right believes, what MAGA believes, what America First believes, what Trump believes to be the solution for out-of-control crime everywhere in the country. He is using this as a demonstration of his core beliefs. And just like Milei cleaned up Argentina economically, just as Bukele down in El Salvador took one of the most dangerous places on the planet and made it safe, Trump is doing that here. And one of the added benefits is the screaming that you're hearing from the left, from the Democrats, further isolates the Democratic Party and puts them deeper and deeper into that 20% camp. We keep hearing about 80-20 issues. Well, keeping the streets safe and your kids safe and taking ghost guns off the street and violent criminals off the street is really more of a 90-10 issue. And Trump is forcing, by virtue of his strong action and the antipathies that the left have for him via Trump derangement syndrome is forcing the left to be the 10%. It's further political isolation. Absolute brilliant move on Trump's. And the left just cannot not take the bait.